Welcome to Afrifreedom, your trusted space for bold, uncompromising conversations on African politics, power, and people. Before we get into today's critical discussion, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss future updates on the stories that truly matter to Africa and Africans. Disclaimer: the views and commentary presented in this video are for educational and informational purposes only. They do not reflect the official position of Afrifreedom, and we encourage our viewers to do their own research and participate respectfully in the conversation. Now let's talk about what's happening across West Africa, and why Nigeria, once the heartbeat of Pan-African expression, seems eerily silent in a moment when voices are rising in unity. Across Ghana, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and other countries, there's a wave of youth-led activism growing in momentum. In Ghana, young people took to the streets holding flags and banners, chanting powerful declarations: "We are not negotiating, we are not begging, we are reclaiming." The energy is unapologetically revolutionary and deeply rooted in the Pan-Africanist philosophy that once connected leaders like Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, and Patrice Lumumba. At the center of this awakening is Captain Ibrahim Traore, interim president of Burkina Faso, who has become a symbol of defiance against foreign control, especially French neocolonial influence in West Africa. Traoré's stance has garnered widespread support across the region and the diaspora. Whether you see him as a military leader or a revolutionary, there's no denying that his anti-imperialist rhetoric is connecting with a frustrated and politically awakened African youth.
Thousands rallied in Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou, on Wednesday in a demonstration that the junta-led country's prime minister said makes imperialism tremble.
Some will not sleep tonight. But their nightmare will last because we are standing ready until final victory.
The rally follows the junta's recent claim that it had thwarted a major coup plot. On April 21st, the military announced the arrest of several senior officers alleged to have conspired with external forces to overthrow the government. According to organisers, the rally was also to denounce remarks attributed to US General Michael Langley, accusing junta leader Ibrahim Traoré of using Burkina Faso's gold reserves for personal protection at the expense of the well-being of the people.
We are here to tell American generals, instead of making an American security report, they will lie as they usually do. Colin Powell lied, Saddam Hussein is dead. Barack Obama lied, Gaddafi is dead. This time it will not pass. Our economy belongs to us. Our gold belongs to us. Our underground resources belong to us.
Traoré took power in a September 2022 coup amid an escalating jihadist insurgency. Security has been prioritised and promised elections postponed.
So why is Nigeria, the largest black nation on earth, so noticeably quiet? In contrast to the scenes in Accra or Ouagadougou, any attempt to organize a similar demonstration in Nigeria seems to hit a wall. Just a few days ago, in Edo State, the DSS arrested 6 activists who were planning a solidarity march for Burkina Faso. According to reports, they were detained and accused of plotting to destabilize the country. Think about that for a moment. Rallying in support of a neighboring African nation resisting foreign domination was considered a threat to national security. This silence from Nigeria isn't just strange, it's politically telling. Nigeria, with its history of student activism, vibrant civil society, and long-standing support for African liberation movements, now finds itself restrained under the weight of internal division, political suppression, and what some would argue is foreign-aligned governance.
Yes, this is a show of solidarity with the people of Burkina Faso and their leader, Captain Traoré. We're here to let them know they're not alone, right? Whatever is happening in Burkina Faso is happening everywhere, particularly in Ghana. So today's a show of solidarity with our people in Burkina Faso. Yes, that's what happened today. Sekou Touré said something. He says, the day you find our enemies praising me, know I betrayed you. Right? There's no way your enemy would actually say anything good about you. But let's deal with the issue. Let's break it down. Let's make it very simple. America and France seem so concerned about Traoré. and Burkina Faso, right? The question is, what is their business in Burkina Faso? For a very long time, the French colonies in Africa, 14 of them, in fact, till date, don't have their own Ministry of Finance. They always have to keep their monies in the Ministry of Finance in France. So if Burkina Faso wants to buy anything from Ghana, they would have to write to the Finance Ministry in France for them to release the funds to Ghana. Where does this make sense? France has, if not the third, then it's the fourth largest gold reserve in the world. But France doesn't have a single active gold mine in France. So where's the gold coming from? So if today, the people to the leadership of Burkina Faso are saying they do not want France in their country any longer, how is that a bad thing? In fact, the people, not just in France and in Burkina Faso, but across the world, are standing in support of what Burkina Faso is doing. So what's the West's business in this? Let me even tell you something very interesting. When the Ghanaian president was being inaugurated on the 7th of January 2025, Captain Traore was the guest of honor. Hear this. He was applauded even more than the president who was being sworn in Ghana. That tells you how popular he is. So our message to France and America is this. Deal with your issues in America and in France. France is broke today. As of 2019, their debt to GDP was about 173%. Today is much worse. France should deal with their nonsense in France and leave Burkina Faso alone. America is in tatters today. America is well in over $3 trillion in debt. They should deal with their nonsense and leave Traoré alone. Today, look at the life of Burkina Faso in Burkina Faso today. Burkina Faso has complete and absolute ownership of all their resources, particularly gold. If nothing at all, our man has built 2 tomato factories and is actually industrializing. What has France done in Burkina Faso in the last 100 years?
And this brings us to a name many of you already know, Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Kanu's warnings over the past decade are ringing louder than ever. He repeatedly called out foreign meddling in Nigeria's affairs, the erosion of Nigerian sovereignty, and the manipulation of national interests by external powers. Initially mocked or dismissed by mainstream media and political elites, many Nigerians are now revisiting his speeches and statements, realizing how eerily accurate his predictions have become. Kanu is still in detention, and IPOB remains heavily scrutinized by the Nigerian state. But in light of current events across Africa, it's worth asking, was he criminalized for his methods, or for daring to speak truths that were inconvenient to the powers that be? Let's not forget that these shifts aren't happening in isolation. Burkina Faso, along with Mali and Niger, recently pulled out of ECOWAS and formed the Alliance of Sahel States. They've openly denounced France's continued military and economic influence in the region. They've expelled French troops, shut down French media, and reoriented their alliances toward other powers, most notably Russia.
And you're telling me that Nigeria is viably sustainable? Is that what you're telling me? That somehow this contraption is sustainable, it is viable? It can never be. Because the more you stay in one Nigeria, the more you are inviting the Fulanis to take over your ancestral lands, to take over your villages, and to make life a misery for you. That is the end game. That is the outcome. If you doubt me, go and do a bit of research. Ask yourself, who are the Hausa people? Who are the Nupe people? Who are the Bachama people? All of these people were steamrolled by the Fulani march to the Atlantic Ocean. And now they're in Yoruba land. They're in their forests. They are in their forests. And who's going to drive them away from there? If not the...
Some reports indicate involvement by the Wagner Group, Russia's now decentralized paramilitary operation, suggesting a serious geopolitical shift. What we are seeing is Africa being carved up in real time and again, but this time, some leaders are refusing to play by the old rules. So what does this mean for Nigeria? Does the Nigerian political elite fear a similar revolution? Is the suppression of protests and activists evidence that our government is more aligned with external interests than with the will of the people? Why is a country as significant as Nigeria missing from the Pan-African stage at this pivotal moment? These are not just rhetorical questions, they are urgent calls to action. Should Nigeria be showing stronger solidarity and support for leaders like Ibrahim Traore, who represent a break from foreign dependency? Has Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration moved beyond the legal realm into a purely ideological struggle? And most critically, How can Africa ensure it doesn't simply exchange one foreign master for another, swapping French influence for Russian, or Western influence for Chinese? Your voice matters. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this report insightful, please like this video, share it with your community, and subscribe to the Afrifreedom channel for fearless reporting and honest conversation from across Africa and beyond. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our next video, where we continue to challenge the narratives and amplify the voice of the people. Stay informed, stay aware, and stay free.